Sizing up Murphy, drives, floats, hangs, and scores on the turnaround. J-Dub way behind the three-point line and hits way behind the three-point line. Got blocked. What a rejection by Holmgren. Standing tall like a wall.
This isn't Dort. You're listening to the Uncontested.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Uncontested Post-Game Show. I am your host for tonight, Justin, as the Oklahoma City Blue take down the Portland Trailblazers 107-89. Before we dive in, I want to let you know that we are proudly part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and brought to you by Prairie Artisan Ales. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, or some other weird podcast player. Please subscribe. Rate us 5 stars if you have that ability, and make sure to follow wherever you get your social media content. We cover it all. No stars, no problem. The Thunder tonight announced that all of the key contributors were not playing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jaylin Williams, Cason Wallace, Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, so on and so on and so on. The Thunder were looking much more like they did during the tanking years than they have during this season, in which they've rattled off 50 wins. But it didn't matter. They just beat a real-life NBA team, an NBA team that's been playing pretty good basketball, a healthy NBA team. Missing Deni Avdija, can't ignore that. But the Trailblazers have been playing good ball. They just took Cleveland to overtime very recently. And this Thunder team, without their key contributors, without their star players, without the guys that have made this team into a 52-win now juggernaut, and they came out and executed up and down the floor for every possession and won this game by 18 points. If you're a Trailblazers fan, you're walking in tonight thinking it's easy money. You're going to close out your road trip with a win in Oklahoma City against a team that's just phoning it in. They don't even want it. I heard Thunder fans complaining about, I bought tickets to this game and nobody's playing it. It's fair. No one is playing. I get it. But that game tonight was a blast. If you didn't watch it, you missed out, because this team brought it from start to finish. And it was an incredible performance from a lot of guys who don't always get as much opportunity as they got tonight. They showed up and showed out. And like I said, just kind of whooped the Blazers. So if you didn't watch it, let's do a quick recap of how this game went down. Had a very G League feel, like I mentioned. If you were listening to the show, you got to hear me break down. If you're listening to the show during the tanking years, you got to listen to me break down a lot of games very similar to this, where it's a lot of guys that don't play a lot of minutes against a healthy NBA team, and they didn't always end in 18-point Thunder wins. Early on in this game, felt like the refs were letting a lot go. So you had G League-esque players, you had not a lot of foul calls, and it felt like a glorified pickup game out there. Oklahoma City goes out to a 29-24 lead after the first quarter. The ball movement was superb in that first quarter. Oklahoma City was compensating for not really having a primary ball handler on the floor tonight, really ever, by everybody playmaking. Everybody was moving the ball. It was zipping around the court. Lots of back cuts, lots of nice drives to the basket, lots of good finds. J-Will was balling like he thought he was Magic Johnson out there tonight. Everybody getting involved, a well-balanced effort, up 5 after 1. You feel pretty good about that. Portland comes out in the second quarter on a 13-2 run to very quickly take a 37-31 lead. rough. Felt like, okay, we had our fun in the first quarter. Maybe that was it. Maybe the train stops here. But you know what happened? What always happens with this Thunder team? They don't quit. They don't know how. This team and this organization doesn't know how to give up. After Portland goes up 6, Oklahoma City calls a timeout. Immediately after that, you know who hits 2 big buckets in a row? Ousmane Dieng. Sparks a 32-8 run by the Thunder from that point forward. 32-8 run by a team missing everybody I just mentioned. Getting big buckets from Ousmane Dieng. Getting big buckets from Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Jaylin Williams. Just really impressive stuff. That 32-8 run capped off by a 14-0 run that led into halftime. Most of that done at the hands of Aaron Wiggins, who was cutting to the basket through traffic like a maniac. I was ready to call him Aaron Wiggins Gilgeous-Alexander, the way that he was getting to the basket tonight. No fear, finishing at absurd angles, finishing through contact, finishing in traffic. Aaron Wiggins was phenomenal. Aaron Wiggins has had an incredible February and now early March. It couldn't come at a better time for this Thunder team. I saw a stat on Twitter tonight from our old pal Fred Katz. Wiggins is averaging 18 points per game in 27 minutes since February 1st. That's bona fide, like, star caliber. Like, he is stepping up into a role that the Thunder didn't know they needed filled. And it couldn't happen at a better time. If he can continue anything similar to this heading into the playoffs, it's something that no one expected from Aaron Wiggins. He's been a blast of a player. That's why everybody loves him. That's why there's the memes, Aaron Wiggins saved basketball. He's been an absolute blast. But what he's been doing since February 1st is just kind of insane. It's the kind of role player that can win you a playoff series. It's the kind of role player that can win you a championship. If he continues playing at this pace, he is going to find himself in some very big moments for this Thunder team as they begin to make their postseason run. Like I mentioned, big run into halftime, compensating for a lack of ball handlers out there, with everybody getting involved, everybody contributing. J. Will looked like a master facilitator out there. Aaron Wiggins was looking at Anthony Simons like he was food. Just absolutely gorgeous. And then in the third quarter, yet again, Portland punches back. Portland cuts it to 5 pretty quick to start the third quarter. And again, I found myself thinking like, okay, that second quarter was really fun, but maybe this is where the train stops. Instead, the Thunder fought back again. And you know who sparked it again? Aaron Wiggins. Aaron Wiggins checked in midway through the fourth and immediately hit a 3, and it felt like everything changed for this Thunder team. They closed the game on a 20-4 run. Sounds familiar to the first half. 20-4 run, spearheaded by big plays by Aaron Wiggins. J. Will going down to a little baseline midi pull-up. Again, looking someone doing their best Shai Gilgeous-Alexander impression out there. You had Alex Caruso on both ends of the floor doing exactly what Alex Caruso does on both ends of the floor. Just really impressive stuff from this Thunder team. It's hard to watch a game like tonight and just not feel ecstatic. I know you can be bummed about Shai not playing, or Jalen Williams not playing, or Chet not playing, or so on and so on and so on and so on. But if you didn't have fun watching that game tonight, you might not have a pulse. That was one of the most fun games this Thunder team has had this whole season. If you had asked me how I felt about having to cover this game tonight, knowing who all was sitting out, I thought this was going to be a stinker. I had a blast. I think all Thunder fans had a blast tonight. This team just fights 1 through 15. Mark Daigneault opened his post-game press conference talking about this is a great program win. And aside from sounding legitimately like a college coach with that comment, it's a true testament to this Thunder organization. It's not just the starting 5. It's not just the superstar. It's not just the coaching staff. It's not just the front office. Every single aspect of this organization is so meticulous in their habits, diligent in how they prepare, aligned from top to bottom. You don't have to look far. You don't have to go far in the past to find NBA organizations that do not have the organizational alignment that the Thunder have. And if you tuned into this postgame expecting to hear organizational alignment 10 minutes in, bless you, but this is where we are. Look at the Mavs. The front office and the coaching staff and the players are all on completely different pages. The Oklahoma City Thunder have everyone on the same page from Sam Presti to the Towel Boy. And games like tonight put that on full display. It's impossible not to feel good about what the Thunder just went out and did against a mostly healthy Trailblazers team that's been playing fairly good basketball, just to reiterate that point. Now, I could sit here and pretend to break down like what these contributions mean for a fully healthy Thunder team. We could go deep into numbers and overanalyze things, but the vibes alone tonight are enough to cash in on as a Thunder fan. You don't get that many nights like this. It's special, man. It's special. It reminds me of some of those special fun wins during the tanking seasons. I didn't think we'd have a win like this during this era of the Thunder. Incredible. Probably won't be the last either. I expect the Thunder to roll out plenty more lineups like this down the stretch of the season with their 11-game lead in the Western Conference. Do they all go like this? Probably not. So enjoy this one. But as we do dive into stats, we do have a game to break down. I am going to get into some of the numbers. I cannot go any further without, let's just go ahead and give out our Prairie, King of the Prairie tonight. Jaylin Williams. Jalen J. Will Williams. Jalen Magic Johnson Williams. Whatever you'd like to call him tonight. J. Will, with an increased opportunity, hit the first shot of the game and puts in a triple-double. 10 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists in 36 minutes for the OKC Thunder. Per Thunder PR, J. Will becomes the 9th player in OKC Thunder history to record a triple-double. I thought about making this a crowd participation chat trivia question, but I'm just going to tell you. The other 8 players who have recorded a triple-double in Oklahoma City: Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Paul George, Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jaylin Williams, J-Dub, Trey Mann, and Alexei Pokusevski. That's a list of Thunder legends. Now, you can argue with Trey Mann and Alexei Pokusevski, but they're legends to me. J. Will joins an illustrious group, a small group. A lot of great Thunder players come through this organization. J. Will joins a group with a triple-double tonight. Awesome stuff. I think as fun as it was to watch J. Will facilitating, literally, like, made some phenomenal passes. I've kind of made it, joking about it a little bit, but legitimately great passes and vision from J. Will tonight. Looked a little bit like Isaiah Hartenstein at moments. Like the facilitation from J. Will was very impressive. And then some of the scoring, like I said, the little baseline midi legitimately looked like a Shai shot. And when they cut to the bench after that one, all the starters in their street clothes were going absolutely insane. Top vibes game tonight. Watching Shai and the guys on the bench going nuts for J. Will hitting a midi in the fourth quarter. So much fun. So much fun. Huge game from J. Will. He gets the post-game shower before he talks to Nick Gallo. He got a bunch of towels thrown on him, as is now custom. Shai even threw a towel over his head and looked like he was trying to suffocate him, which was incredible, but just awesome. Awesome to see. Awesome to see for J. Will, a guy that is always out there doing the dirty work for this team. He's often overlooked and overshadowed. Not the flashiest player on the floor most nights, but he's solid. And it's awesome to see a guy like that get rewarded for all the hard work that he puts in that most fans probably don't ever see. To see him get his flowers on a night like tonight is a blast. Other noteworthy performances. I mentioned Aaron Wiggins earlier. I got to circle back and give you some stats. Wiggins was phenomenal. Absolutely cooked Anthony Simons all night long. Just rinse and repeat on the offensive end. A little back cut, a dish from J. Will, and a layup over and over and over. And a lot of those finishes were in traffic. They were tough finishes. Aaron Wiggins, 30 points tonight in 32 minutes. 5 rebounds and 3 assists to go with it. The Aaron Wiggins evolution has been phenomenal. Not something I expected, right? Like, I love Aaron Wiggins. He's a blast. I did not expect Aaron Wiggins to have a 30-piece and a 40-piece in the span of about a month. It's extremely impressive when you consider who he plays with to be putting up the kind of scoring numbers that Aaron Wiggins is putting up. He looks so pure shooting the ball. Tonight, his driving ability was on display. I feel like a lot of the games recently, it's been his just kind of like catch and shoot, which makes sense given the personnel he's out there with. But his drive and finish tonight was so good. It was Shai-esque, and that's not a hyperbole, which means that's a very high compliment because Shai is one of the best drivers in the entire NBA. Just really impressive stuff from Wiggs. This Thunder team is going to need him at some point as they head toward the playoffs. They're going to need Aaron Wiggins to step up and take over a game. They're going to need Aaron Wiggins to put in a big bucket in a crucial moment. And you can already see it. The seeds are being laid. It's going to happen, and it's going to be a blast. Another guy that you just like can't help but love seeing him get those opportunities, seeing him make the most of it, and seeing him have the opportunity to put that on display. Another guy who had a big opportunity, Ousmane Dieng, also 36 minutes tonight, 16 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 6 of 10 shooting, and 4 of 6 from behind the arc. Love it for Oos. A guy that continues to put in work. He's had small opportunities this season, but again, given the roster and the depth this team has, Ousmane Dieng just has a hard time getting minutes. And that's not a knock on him. That's just a reality of where he's at. He's still incredibly young. He still has a very long runway in front of him. Will he become a key contributor to this Thunder team? I don't know. The timelines might not match up. And that's okay. Again, that's not a dig on Oos. He just might not get there in time that the Thunder need him to get there. But I think he showed a lot of promise again tonight. He's shown a lot of flashes. One of his threes was like almost touching the logo. He caught the ball coming off a screen or dipping out to the 3-point line. Kind of did a little crossover and took a step back out almost to the logo and drained it. Very pure. Nothing but net. It's awesome to see him develop like that. I want to see more of it. I think that's his path to NBA minutes with the Thunder. He has to continue to be overly aggressive when he gets the opportunity. I think at times that's the criticism, is that he seems a little bit passive. If he wants to capitalize and really crack this rotation, probably not this year. I mean, definitely not this year, but maybe next year, if he wants that opportunity, he's going to have to go snatch it, because there's a lot of ball players on this team up and down the roster. I also want to touch on Isaiah Joe, 16 points tonight, 4 of 12 shooting, 3 of 9 from behind the arc, 6 rebounds and 6 assists. The facilitation of Isaiah Joe with 6 assists, second only to Jaylin Williams, was huge for this team tonight. When you have no true point guard on the floor, Isaiah Joe stepped up. The Arkansas boys accounted for 17 of the Thunder's 25 assists tonight. They needed that. They needed guys to step up, and credit Joe for doing that. That's not often a role that he's called upon in this Thunder team. And I think he again, a testament to the work that he puts in day out. The player that he is was able to dip into his bag and show a little bit different skill set tonight, and the team needed it. A very balanced scoring effort up and down the stat sheet. One other guy I do want to touch on, Alex Caruso, 17 points in 24 minutes off the bench, 6 of 8 shooting and 2 of 2 from behind the arc. Add on 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 3 steals and 1 block. 3 steals and 1 block. Alex Caruso doing it all. I wasn't sure if Alex Caruso was going to play much. I wondered if he might start and then not play a lot of minutes. He did not start, comes off the bench, plays the second most minutes off the bench behind Dylan Jones. But they needed every minute from Alex Caruso tonight. Really kind of turned the tide a little bit in the fourth quarter on the defensive end of things. He just sets such a tone. He mucks up passing lanes. He makes everything difficult. He made the Trailblazers second guess everything when he's on the floor. He's such a pest. He sticks to guys like glue on the defensive end and just makes everything more difficult. Another guy that has been such a crucial part of this Thunder team, but lately, the offensive evolution of Caruso. Had a rough start offensively to start the year. Was awesome defensively, like from the get-go. That was obvious. But offense didn't look like what we hoped Alex Caruso would bring. Not what he was doing in Chicago. Lately, though, just like Aaron Wiggins, incredibly good. Incredibly good. 6 of 8 from the floor and 2 of 2 from behind the arc. You take that every single night of the week. No matter what your starting five looks like, you take that from Alex Caruso. If he can continue to put numbers somewhat in that ballpark in consistently for this Thunder team, it's going to be scary hours as they head toward the playoffs. And I think that's my biggest takeaway from tonight. You saw guys make the most of an increased opportunity, and a level of opportunity that they're probably not going to have very often for this Thunder team, especially not when the Thunder is playing at full strength. But a confidence builder, like how big was tonight for J. Will? He's been in and out of the lineup. He's had some DNPs lately. A game like tonight just shoots him through the roof. Not that I think you ever have much of it like an attitude problem with J. Will, at least not one that's perceptible to the fans. He always seems like a great teammate. This has got to do wonders for him. Same thing for Aaron Wiggins. Again, not sure confidence has been an issue for Aaron Wiggins lately, but to be able to come in and like kind of be a number one option and whoop the Trailblazers and hold them to 89 points. I haven't even talked about that yet. The defense as a whole, holding the Trailblazers to 89 points. That's insane. That's incredible stuff. I mentioned they took the Cavaliers to overtime the other night. They scored 129 points on the Cavs. The Cavs, who are great and one of the great defensive teams, they scored 118 on Boston. They scored 121 on Denver and 117 on Denver right before that. Like, this team's been hooping and they can score. And now, again, they didn't have Avdija tonight. I don't want to overlook that, but to get held to 89 points is filthy. This Thunder defense, without their starters, without their stars, no Queso, no Lou Dort, no J-Dub, no Shai, no Hartenstein, no Chet, just put the absolute clamps on. 16 points in the fourth quarter for the Trailblazers. Didn't score for like the last 4 minutes of the game. Just absolutely shut them down. Incredibly impressive stuff. That translates, right? We talk about the opportunity. That translates. Check these guys in a ball game, no matter who they're out there with. What they put out there tonight translates. The offense, the confidence building, when you go out there alongside Shai or Dub or Chet or Hart or Caruso or Dort, and you know that you can put in 17 points Alex Caruso, 16 points Isaiah Joe, 16 points Ousmane Dieng, 10 points J. Will, 10 points K. Rich, 30 points Aaron Wiggins. That does something for your confidence level when you do come in off the bench. That's going to pay dividends later. It pays dividends now because you got another win. You're 52-11. But it'll pay dividends in the long run too. And I think that's the theme of tonight for me. Like I said, the positives from tonight transcend a single game, and I think are going to translate to what this team has in their depth and their bench production that is going to show up when this team needs them. It's going to be a blast. The Thunder, looking ahead at the schedule, one of the most fun stretches as a fan coming up. Oklahoma City hosts Denver on Sunday. A nooner on Sunday on ABC against Denver. Turn around the very next night, play them again. Little do-si-do, back-to-back, both at home. Going to have playoff vibes. MVP implications on the line with SGA and Jokic going at it. And then 2 days later on Wednesday, they're going up to Boston. They're shipping up to Boston for a big game against the Celtics, before going to Detroit for a big game against the Pistons, then Milwaukee, and then the 76ers. It's a fun stretch coming up for this Thunder team. They're going to have an opportunity. The vibes tonight, off the charts. Super fun. The next 3 games are going to look very different. Hopefully just as fun. But Oklahoma City is going to get to test their mettle a little bit. They're going to get to see what they got against some of the best teams that they may face in the playoffs, that they may have to win a playoff series against, teams that are playing very well right now. Oklahoma City is going to get to put it on tape. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast content. We're going to be here for it all. We're going to be with you Sunday night. We're going to have a big Nuggets game to talk about. We're going to look ahead to the following day against the Nuggets again. We're going to have a lot to talk about, so make sure you tune in for that one. Join us live in the YouTube. If you haven't already, go join the Patreon. I had a blast in the Discord tonight, as always, with the degenerates watching the game. Come hang out with us. We have a great time. We also have a lot of exclusive Patreon bonus episodes that you get as part of that deal too, so don't miss out on that. That'll do it for me tonight. This team's a blast. Appreciate everybody in the chat tonight. Lots of enthusiasm for this Thunder team. I love seeing some of the unsung heroes get hyped up by the fan base, by their teammates, by the media. It's a blast. Make sure to come back on Sunday. Like I said, we're going to break lots of things down. That'll do it for me tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, and as always, Thunder up.